Hello, my name is Bryce Jurdy, and this is Out of the Dust. An Out of the Dust board game is a game that you've played recently that you haven't previously played in a year or more. So why are you bringing this game out of the dust? What's the occasion? When was the last time you played it? How does the game compare now to how you remember it the last time you played? And are you likely to play it some more in the future now that you've brought it out of the dust? These are the questions that we're interested in examining on this segment. I recently brought out of the dust this game, Fighting Fantasy Battle Cards, an early pre-Magic CCG from designer Steve Jackson. Let me show you how this game works. Take a look at these cards. You'll note around the borders of the cards are these lotto-style scratch bubbles. In fact, to play the game, you simply exchange character cards with another player, and you take turns scratching off these bubbles, hoping to uncover drops of blood. Each time you do, you scratch off a bubble on top, which are the life points, and if you uncover the skull, which is one of those four up here on top, then you win the game! That's all there is to it. Sounds pretty exciting and innovative, right? You could call this game the original Legacy game because these cards are disposable. Well, turns out it's neither interesting nor innovative. In fact, it's one of the worst designed games of all time because it's completely luck-based. It's just trying to find the drops of blood and the skull on top, and there's no rhyme or reason for where those might be located at all. So why did I bring this game out of the dust? Well, first of all, I acquired this game about 15 years ago from the Dead CCG booth at Gen Con. I played from time to time then, and most recently was about 7 years ago. I played this game at a church game night, which, in hindsight, was a pretty terrible choice for a game to bring to that sort of function. It did not go over well at all, and I haven't played it since. Until recently, I was a guest on the Spielcast podcast, and I thought it would make for some entertaining audio if we played a live game on this podcast, an unusual game, and Battle Cards certainly qualifies in that regard. So we recorded this live session of Battle Cards. We exchanged characters and we took turns scratching off the bubbles. We had this exciting rising tension, completely luck-based and random, and the game mechanically is just as terrible as I remember it being. But despite that, despite some of these bubbles not having aged very well over 25 years since they were printed, some of them don't functionally work anymore. It's really hard to scratch them off. You can't tell what's underneath them anymore. Despite all of that, it was a weirdly fun time. That might probably due in part to the company that I was playing with, but also due in part to some charm that this game does possess. It features this delightfully dated, cheesy 90s fantasy art. And the game doesn't last long enough to be annoying at all. And there's a certain satisfaction of finally finding the blood and even killing off a character. There's a little bit of excitement in that regard. Definitely not something you'd want to play too often, but from time to time it might be a nice little treat. Because it is a historical oddity, it makes for a nice conversation piece. In fact, I'm going to add some of these cards to my small game bag. And the next time somebody comments at a game session, you know what? I could really go for something weird and unusual next. Then I can respond, I've got just the thing! Let's play some Fighting Fantasy Battle Cards! So what have other people been bringing out of the dust? Well, BGG user Diego Prata recently played Medici after not having played it in 2 years and 2 months. And he had enjoyed his dusty play of this so much that he raised his rating to an 8 out of 10 on BoardGameGeek. And in the process, just for good measure, he also reduced his rating of Modern Art, as he had some words of comparison on these games. He writes, for quite some time, I considered Modern Art to be superior, but Modern Art has a big issue with its mechanics. As the money goes from one player to the other, meaning it suffers too much from bad plays that unbalance the game. Medici runs faster, accommodates more players, and is more tense and balanced, with just a tad bit of luck to spice things up. So what have you been bringing out of the dust recently, the last week or the last month or so? Let us know in the comments, and join the conversation at the monthly BoardGameGeek Geek List titled Out of the Dust. In the meantime, let's show some love to those games that we haven't played in a while and see how they hold up. Thanks for watching Out of the Dust.